I reviewed hundreds of slides from top consulting firms, mostly McKinsey, Bain, and BCG, and discovered something fascinating. Most of these firms rely on four main slide layouts repeatedly when building slide decks. So in today's video, I'll show you what these four layouts are, when to use them, and how to build them quickly in PowerPoint. Let's dive right in. So the first layout is the table slide, which is exactly what it sounds like, a table on your slide. For example, here's a slide from McKinsey where a table displays main categories on the left with supporting text on the right. Here's another example from BCG. Again, main categories on the left and supporting details on the right. As you can see, icons are added here as visual metaphors to bring the categories to life. Alright, let's create some table slides. So, there are two approaches to creating table slides, but first, let me enable the grid lines and slide guides to help with alignment. Now, the easiest method is using PowerPoint's built-in table feature. So, go to the Insert tab, select Table, and insert a table with your preferred number of rows and columns. Once inserted, align the table on the slide, then go to the Table Layout tab and increase its width. Next, let's adjust the row height. So, select the first row and increase its height, then select the remaining rows and adjust their height as needed. Now, let's format the table. So, enter the Shape Format options, go to the Size and Properties section, and under the text box options, set the left and right margins to 0 so that any text inserted starts at the edge of the cells. Once that's set, select all rows except the first one and adjust their top and bottom margins as needed. With that done, let's insert some dummy text, and for this demonstration, I'll be using text from my clipboard. As you can see, this follows the typical table structure with a header row for labels and data rows below for text descriptions and other necessary information. Now, with the text inserted, let me reduce the font size in these cells. Since these are list items, let's switch to bullet points, then enter the paragraph options and adjust the indentations and spacing as needed. After that, I'll also reduce the font size in this cell. Now, select and copy the text, paste into subsequent rows in the table, then select the header row, apply the brand color to the text, and align the text in the middle of the cells. To complete the table design, let's head to the Table Design tab, remove the shading on all cells, remove the table borders, select your preferred border color, I'm going to keep this as black, then apply inside horizontal borders to the table. There you have it. That's one way to create a table slide. Now, you might be thinking that this approach is a bit basic, and you're not entirely wrong as it lacks visual impact. So let's go over the second way to create a table slide. First, let me duplicate this slide and delete the table. Now let's insert a text box, type our text, align the text box using the grid lines, and increase the width of the text box. After that, duplicate the text box as needed and ensure that all objects are properly aligned and evenly distributed across the slide. Once aligned, duplicate the text boxes again, reduce their font sizes as needed, and unbold this text. Now, let me replace this text with content for my clipboard. After that, let's follow the previous steps of switching these to bullet points, entering the paragraph options, and adjusting the indentations and spacing as needed. Now we can select all the text boxes and match their width. With that done, let's insert a circle from the shapes group, adjust the height and width, then insert an icon from a preferred source. For this demonstration, I'll paste an icon for my clipboard. Once inserted, align the icon with the circle, then group both objects and align the grouped objects to the title text box and ensure all objects are properly aligned. After that, select all these objects and group them together. Next, select the straight line connector from the shapes group, hold shift as you drag to insert a straight line, then position the line between these objects to create separation. Now we can duplicate these objects as needed, repeat the same for the line, then select all these objects and ensure that they are evenly distributed vertically on the slide. Finally, you can ungroup these objects, delete this line, select all these text boxes, change their colors, and adjust their sizes as needed. There you go. That's how to create table slides. Moving on to the next slide layout, the chart slide. This is the bread and butter of any consulting presentation. As you can see on this McKinsey slide, it's just the title on the slide and a chart taking up the bulk of the space. In some cases, like this slide from BCG, you will have supporting details providing key insights in paragraph formats to reinforce the slide's message. Slides like this are really effective when you're trying to make a convincing point and when you have the data to support it. Obviously, building a chart slide is pretty straightforward. Just go to the Insert tab, select Charts, and insert your preferred chart on the slide. Always remember to use the right chart to present your data. To assist with this, here's a quick guide I developed to ensure you're selecting the right chart for your data. Now, to ensure you stay productive with chart creation, there are tools like ThinkCell and Ampler that speed up the chart building process. However, for this demonstration, I'll show you how to use PowerPoint's built-in chart template feature to create professional chart designs. So here, I've created vertical and horizontal bar chart templates. Let me just insert this one. As you can see, the inserted chart appears on the slide very close to how you would want it to appear, with the grid lines, legend, and vertical axis removed, and the data labels already included. Now, before you proceed with any formatting, ensure you first reset the chart to match the slide style, as this ensures the chart is using the font and color themes. Then you can make any necessary adjustments, delete unnecessary columns, and increase the font size. Alright, now let me show you how to set up a chart template. So I'll just duplicate this slide and delete the chart. Then go to the Insert tab, select Chart. For this, I'll be using a bar chart. Once inserted, close the data window and minimize non-data ink by hiding chart elements like the horizontal axis, chart title, grid lines, and legend. Then enable the data labels for the bars. With that done, double-click on the data series and reduce the gap width to increase the size of the bars. Next, select the vertical axis, head to the Format Axis options, and set the categories in reverse order so that it starts from category 1 by default. After that, right-click on the chart and save it as a chart template on your device. Now I can delete this, head back to the chart options, insert the newly created chart template on the slide, close the data window, reset the chart to match the slide's theme, and then make any necessary adjustments to the chart. I'll just speed run through this process. Alright, that's how you create chart templates and slides using just PowerPoint. Moving on to the next layout, which has a few different names, but I believe the most common is a panel slide. As you can see from this BCG slide, it's basically a slide with a main title and then subtitles and underlying content that support the title. Slides like this are great for showing structure, especially when you need to show your audience how you reached a conclusion. So here's another example from BCG. The main conclusion is at the top, with each panel supporting that conclusion. Now, the main difference between this and a table slide layout is how information flows from top to bottom versus a table slide layout where it flows from left to right and is more categorical. So, just like a chart slide, this one is also pretty straightforward. But first, let me toggle on the guides and grid lines, then paste my text from my clipboard. Once inserted, select the straight line connector from the shapes group, hold shift as you drag to insert a straight line, align the line with the text, increase its size to match the text boxes, and ensure it's evenly distributed with the text to create clear separation between the subtitle and descriptions. After that, group all objects. Then duplicate the grouped object twice, ensuring that all objects are properly aligned and evenly distributed across the slide. Finally, ungroup the objects to get the individual elements. Alright, now as seen from examples, we can create a hybrid version of this. So let me duplicate the slide, delete these text boxes, copy the chart from the previous slide, paste it here, adjust the chart size so it fits the width of the subtitle text box, and then duplicate the chart. There you go. That's how to create a panel slide. Now, the last slide type is called a framework or conceptual slide. These are by far the hardest slides to build and are used to represent an idea or concept visually. Take for example this McKinsey slides that presents a model for understanding the key components of a successful organizational transformation. Instead of using raw text and bullet points, they use shapes, diagrams, and models to communicate the same thing in a clearer way. Here's another framework slide example from McKinsey, and this one presents a model for understanding the different strategic paths that equipment manufacturers can take to acquire or produce semiconductors. Now, the best way to build these slides is to find an infographic template either at your company or somewhere on the internet. If you don't have access to any of those, there are built-in smart art graphics in PowerPoint to help you create one. Usually, I wouldn't recommend using smart art as it can look amateur. But if you absolutely have to, you can make it look worthwhile. So after I've inserted the matrix smart art, I can go to the smart art design tab and convert the graphic into shapes. Once converted, I'll go to the shape format tab, reduce the size of the objects, delete these objects, use the edit shape feature to change the shapes, change the color of the objects, then make the line thicker by increasing its weight. Next, I'll enter the shape format options, go to the size and properties section, and under text box options, I'll customize the text margins in the shape as needed, and then unwrap the text in the shape. Finally, I'll align the grouped objects on the slide, reduce the font size in the home tab, and paste text into the shapes from my clipboard. Since this is a framework in the form of a matrix, I'll also add axes to show that these 4 elements are systematically related. Then I'll align the axes with the grouped objects to complete the coaching styles framework. Alright, that's going to do it for today's video. If you want access to these templates, you can get it for free by following the link in the video description. To access a variety of best practice slide layouts used by top consulting firms as shown in the examples in this video, check out the Analyst PPT Toolkit. If you found this video helpful, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.